Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a word we all use, but maybe don't always think about deeply. Undermine.
That's right.
We've got a great word study here that really gets into it. And our mission really is just to give you a richer feel for this word, its power, and how it works.
It's definitely a powerful one. It often operates, just beneath the surface, kind of like its own definition suggests.
Yeah, exactly. So understanding it better gives you, well, a sharper lens for looking at things.
For sure.
Okay, let's start with the roots. The study traces it back to Middle English, underminen,
Right. Under meaning, well, beneath.
and minen, like digging a mine or a tunnel.
Yep. So the literal picture is digging under something, tunneling beneath it to make it unstable.
That's a very physical image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really vivid.
It absolutely is. And that core idea, that sort of hidden gradual weakening from below, that's crucial. It's not like blowing something up instantly.
No, it's slower, more insidious sometimes.
Exactly. It's that slow destabilization that really informs how we use the word metaphorically now.
Which leads us straight to the main definition. As a verb, undermine means to weaken or damage something, but gradually or secretly.
Often things like authority or maybe confidence structures.
And that gradually or secretly part, that feels like the absolute core of it.
It really is. That's what sets it apart from, say, other ways of weakening something.
Like just the word weaken. How is undermine different there?
Well, the study points out that while undermining does weaken, undermine specifically carries that extra flavor of, sneakiness, subtlety.
Oh.
And it implies a longer time frame. Often it's not usually a sudden collapse.
Gotcha. Okay, what about sabotage? That sounds pretty similar. Both cause harm.
They do, but the study highlights a difference in approach. Sabotage is often more, direct, obvious even, like deliberately breaking something.
Right, like throwing a wrench in the works.
Exactly. Whereas undermining, it can be much quieter. You might not even see it happening until the damage is done.
Okay. And one more. Erode. Where does that fit?
That's closer, definitely, because erosion is also gradual. But the study suggests undermine usually implies some kind of agent, like someone or something is doing the undermining, even indirectly.
Whereas erosion can just be like the wind and rain, a natural process.
Precisely. So undermine often has that hint of intent, or at least a specific cause, behind the weakening.
That's a useful set of distinctions.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make this more concrete. The study gives some real-world examples. On a personal level, spreading rumors.
Oh, yeah. Classic example. It doesn't directly attack someone, maybe, but it slowly eats away at their credibility, their trustworthiness.
It's that chipping away process.
Totally. Or think about constant low-key criticism. Not a big shouting match, but just little digs over time. That can seriously undermine someone's self-esteem, right? It's the accumulation.
Yeah, it's the death by a thousand cuts idea, almost. Now, scaling up, the study mentions things like hackers trying to undermine trust in elections.
Right. The goal there might not even be changing the vote count itself.
It's more about making people doubt the whole system.
Exactly. Planting seeds of distrust, weakening confidence in the process's integrity.
And disinformation campaigns, they work like that too, don't they?
Absolutely. They aim to undermine public confidence in, say, institutions or science or even just shared facts. It creates uncertainty, instability.
Okay. And inside an organization, the study mentions internal conflicts.
Yeah. If everyone's fighting internally or there's lots of backstabbing, it just saps energy.
It undermines the whole mission, right?
Yeah.
Because people aren't focused on the actual goals.
Precisely. And just to circle back to the literal, that image the study evokes, a building's foundation being slowly undermined by water erosion you can't even see.
Yeah.
It's such a good reminder of how these hidden, gradual forces can compromise even things that seem really solid.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows undermine isn't just about weakening. It's about that slow, often hidden, gradual decay of something important.
Yep. Whether that's trust, authority, confidence, or even, a physical structure, it's the unseen damage that matters.
So here's something to think about, maybe as you go about your day. Where might subtle forces be undermining things you rely on?
In your interactions, or even in the bigger picture, what unseen currents might be slowly eroding the foundations, the trust we often just take for granted?